What is good, YouTube? Today is February 20th, 2:30, 2:25, end of the day. Crazy session. And I'm gonna just break it down. Okay, I think today's title is gonna be how to navigate disrespectful markets. Because coming into today, a whole lot happened. So I'm just gonna take it back and really talk y'all through my thought process coming into market today. And obviously, we mark out our draws that we have on the chart. Coming into market open, we had London high, and I think that's it. And we also had this Asia low, and we took out this New York AM low. We created this New York PM, which we will eventually end up taking out. But besides all of that, we are bearish till we are not. Let me actually even fix this. Let me do that, and then let me come here, and then let me hit that. So as we can see, all throughout the past 5 weeks, I should say, we've just been showing bearish structure, lower highs. Every time we bounce, we always reject them. We go lower. I talked about this yesterday. We have these higher time frame gaps on the 4 hour. We see multiple, all of them being respected. And today we have this gap. We go down to the 1 hour, pretty much the same thing. Some bearish gaps right here. And so all this is showing us is that we are bearish on the day. And so coming into market, and so coming in the market, I wanted potentially to take out our lows and then make a play off that, or when we are showing bearish structure, it is easier to potentially look for a sweep of a high and then an inversion, and then we'll take it down to the lows, because that allows us to follow the bearish order flow that we're seeing. But coming into market open, we weren't near any highs. I believe we were 200 points away from London. Yeah, we were 200 points away from London high. So coming in, I was just trying to figure out a way to get involved in some shorts to the downside. Market opened up at 8:30. We didn't do much. Actually, I lied. You see that we have this sweep of, wasn't I supposed to? We have the sweep of Asia low, and I guess you could call this a Judas swing almost, where you have your, I mean, there really wasn't any manipulation, but we sweep out this low and we start aggressively displacing upwards. And now, before we created this big 15 that we have here, we had this 15-minute bearish gap that was, I won't say holding price down, but it was created. And then we had this 1 hour bearish gap, and obviously we have a whole bunch of bearish gaps that I just showed on higher time frames. So I'm expecting us to, potentially tag into one of these gaps, hold, and then continue lower. But as we can see, that just didn't happen. I don't believe there was any place to partake in market at this time. But seeing this displacement to the upside, my first thought is, okay, I can switch my bias. That's easy. And now it's like looking for longs. But once again, how to get involved? And so at this time, it was 8:40-ish. Around 8:50, around 8:45, obviously, we create the first 15-minute bullish gap. And we see, is there a way to hide all? Okay, there is. But we see that we put in this 15-minute gap, but we still have no way to get involved in the market. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out. How do I get involved in the market? And so we put in this 15, and what I'm looking for is, after we put in this 15-minute bullish, I'm looking for a obviously we got that already, but I now want a dig into it. After we finish digging into it, pause, I then want to see us. It's now the opposite. We dig into it, we find a bearish gap that we can inverse, and then we're taking it to the highs. But let me tell you what happened. One, there was some malfunction with Trade of Eight during 9:01 to 9:10, and I'm looking at all these Discord chats going off, and it's like I wanted to stay hand off. And then two, we got this crazy volume spike at 9:01 on the dot. Um, and right here, we left these relative equal lows, and my thought process at this time was, okay, we're right here. We're going to tag into this 15, and then we'll get what I was looking for, what I just explained, which is a bearish gap to inverse to then take to these highs. But we end up leaving these relative equal lows right above the 15-minute gap. We never tagged the gap today. And we come out and we end up sweeping. We end up sweeping our old London, our London high, our old London, and our New York PM high, which were essentially all the draws we had to the upside. And once again, it's like, okay, we swept them out, but now off this pullback, if this 15 can hold and we come sweep out these relative lows, I can still potentially look for the same play where we are coming down, sweeping out these lows, and then we're coming back to the upside after we potentially inverse a 1 minute bearish gap, and then we're looking for a play like this essentially. So where we'll take it to the previous highs that we just put in, which were these swing highs. We probably want to dig a deeper dig into this 15-minute gap. So potentially the play would have been something like this. But we just never ended up sweeping out. What's it called? We never ended up sweeping out these relative lows that we put in, and so I'm watching this and I'm pretty hands off because I'm not trying to there's not any real clarity here. If we wanted to go higher, I believe that we would have tagged into this 15. If we wanted to go lower, we would have once again swept these lows and ran through with aggression through this 15-minute bullish gap. Market is chopping around, trying to find a way to get involved. And then right here, I see that we end up putting in our high, which is right here, and I'm now looking to see if this is a pullback or if this is a reversal play. And so I have this 5-minute bullish fair value got marked out. We started slowing down volume wise around this area 9:40 to 10 a.m. We're starting to disrespect all the tiny 1 minute gaps we're putting in, and we're showing bearish pressure to the downside. And those are all things that you need to get involved or to see if you're trying to get involved with shorts. And I also believe that was a 1 hour gap that we tagged into. Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna obviously mark it out, but we dang near touched a CE of this 1 hour gap, and we are now rejecting out of it. So in my head, I see this and I think about what I was looking for this morning. I was looking for shorts already. We're in this 1 hour gap. I still need to see these relative lows get hit because I know they aren't safe. And then we end up flipping this 5-minute bullish gap. And I missed my entry, and I didn't break a rule, but I was very undisciplined because right here I missed my entry, and we see that we flipped this. This is a 5-minute bullish gap that we have right here that we ended up flipping, and I wanted to take shorts off the break of it, but I don't know why. I was a little bit hesitant. This is the exact play I would have drawn up, and I wanted to take it down to these lows because I believe these relative lows aren't safe. But I missed my entry, and we see price starts to show strength to the downside. Whoa. Price was showing strength to the downside, and I really wanted to get in. I don't believe I would have went break even if I had gotten off my initial entry. There was no place to yet. This is the first swing low, so I wouldn't have. It would have been a losing trade regardless. But what happened was I ended up taking it a little later, and I caught the bottom, and I took this short loss, 30-point stop, slap on the wrist, boo hoo. Off that though, we do see we leave this 1-minute bullish gap, and due to the fact that we just didn't end up sweeping out any of these lows, it's like, okay, I can flip my bias like that. What happened? I caught the bottom. I got stopped out. I believe we put in a breaker, and then we also left this woman at bullish gap. And after I saw that we were showing a lot of strength to the upside, because this is a 70 point move by itself. Once I saw that we were showing strength to the upside, now it's just looking for your first inverse to take a play off of. The optimal entry would have been, let me see where the optimal entry is probably before, where would it be?